Hi there, my name is Christine Palin, and I'm a board member and drum instructor for Girls Rock CU. And today I'll be having a brief conversation with Janaea Modest, aka DJ Silky, to talk a bit about what she's been up to these past few months, her background in DJing, and her plans to launch a DJ camp for girls in Champaign-Urbana. DJ Silky's been with Girls Rock CU from the beginning. She's volunteered at our workshops, done DJing demonstrations during our summer camps during lunch, and even closed out the show at our first camp showcase a couple of years ago. We're so grateful for her continued support for our organization, and I'm so excited to have the chance to catch up with her today. Janae, it's so good to see you. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing today?
Good. It's Friday. I'm happy, and I'm excited. Like, it's not often I get to have really fun conversations about music during this time with other people. So first of all, I'm kind of curious, what have you been up to these past few months? I'm sure DJing looks really different for you in these circumstances.
Oh, it has been real different. Ever since the pandemic hit, I can honestly all my scheduled gigs had got canceled. So honestly, I had to, think off my feet, quick off my feet, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do some online DJing. And I've done a couple. I did a kids party. I started off doing happy hour, for the adults, and I kind of had to stop that because I was getting a little too happy with everybody too. So I had to slow that down a little bit. But honestly, the summer has been very restful.
Mm-hmm.
This has been the most restful it has been in the past 5 to 6 years for me.
Well, that's something, and that's cool. You're being able finding creative ways to keep on what you're doing. So I want to, before we get into what you're looking towards the future, I kind of want to ask you some questions regarding your background. And I'm first of all curious, especially since we work with kids and they tend to have, certain music. Everyone has a certain artist or a moment in their life that got them into music. I'm curious, for you growing up, were there certain artists, genres of music, even a certain song that really first got you interested in gravitating towards music?
Honestly, I've always been a fan of music. I got to give a big shout out to my mom. May she rest in peace. She started me on my musical journey, honestly, just by playing different types of music, introducing me to different artists. She was the one that let me do scratches and stuff on her vinyls. So I can say that she got me into it, but what really got me into DJing was it wasn't even DJing. I wanted to open up my own night spot, and so I wanted to teach myself everything that was needed to run a night spot in case something go wrong. I can jump right into it. And honestly, it grew from there. I got to give a big shout out to my best friend because she pushed me to it. I was in a pretty bad motorcycle accident, probably about, I think about 8 years ago. I can't remember. And I got a nice settlement check. And my best friend was like, you know what? You've always talked about doing stuff. Why don't you just go ahead and start? And she was in I don't know if y'all heard of the group Deja Vu. They sang with Michael Lane, and they did like Prince shows, and she started me out like just doing their intermissions and before their shows and stuff like that.
Wow.
So it was music, but it was a little bit of everybody else pushing me towards it too.
So you started it relatively recently then. I mean, you said 7 or 8 years ago or something?
Yeah.
So so as you were starting that, were there any particular challenges to DJing in particular in terms of getting gear? 'Cause this is a world I'm very unfamiliar with. How did you kind of okay, I want to start doing this? How did you? It sounds like you're pretty self-taught.
One of my good friends, his name is Ariska Hampton. He goes by DJ Doc A here, but he doesn't live here anymore. And I just told him like, hey, let me what do I need to get? And he told me the different different equipment that I had to get. But he always told me like, you're gonna spend money on this, but you're gonna make it back. But go ahead and invest in it. And that's what kicked it off. But my challenges, honestly, was being people not thinking that I was serious about it, especially the male DJs around here. I just had honestly that drove me to be like, okay, you know what, y'all don't take me serious. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and show you. And honestly, that kicked off to me being like one of the biggest DJs in Champaign Urbana. So good shout out to the male DJs that
Yeah.
shout out to y'all because y'all made this monster.
I mean, that's a familiar story for a lot of marginalized folks, you know, making music, and you know, especially if you're taking on an instrument or you know, tackling something like DJing. That's, you know, you don't see a lot of women doing that. I mean, I played the drums, like you don't see a lot of that, and that's a good motivator. And so, I mean, this kind of ties in. I'm sure this is a part of the reason why, but can you tell us a little bit about what you're looking towards the future to do with She Spins? Can you tell us about like where the idea for that came from? And, you know, just, I'm so curious to hear all about it. It sounds so exciting.
Well, CU Girls Rock put me in that mindset of doing it. What I noticed, like what I taught the girls when we were in the camps and stuff, you know, there's not many of us, especially not just saying, you know, different races, but especially Black girls. There's not a lot of Black girl DJs. And when I was doing the classes for CU Girls Rock, I noticed that, well, I'm the Black instructor, but I have a lot of, you know, Caucasian kids.
Mm-hmm.
I want to show my Black girls, you know, Black Girls Rock, like, hey, y'all can do it too. And I really wanted to be able to go into different neighborhoods and advertise to our Black girls, like, hey, you know, I know y'all don't have the access to it like a lot of other people do. So come on to this and I'm gonna show you, you know. And so I was talking to Rachel, and honestly, Rachel from the arts in Urbana. She was like, that's a great idea. You need to go for it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for it. But she really pushed me, and we got to brainstorming, and I said, you know, we're gonna open it to everybody. You know, we're gonna open it to the schools around here. And I really, even though I'm gonna be doing it in Urbana in the future, it was supposed to be this summer, but I just see myself, I see it growing from there and going into the different urban neighborhoods and stuff like that. So I just honestly, like I said, when I was teaching at the Girls Rock camp and stuff, I was like, man, this is honestly, y'all gave me a good opportunity to do that, and it just opened my eyes, saying, okay, we can make this bigger.
Yeah, I was so excited when I saw on your page you shared the news about the Grand, that this was happening. Of course, it's unfortunately not happening this summer because of everything. But that's like, you know, we're doing this, but like this is what I want to see, is like I want to see more people doing this. I want to see more bands. I want to see more you know, young girls, you know, learning these things, and that's what's so exciting. It's that, and especially something. So I don't know if I've, you know, there's lots of rock camps around the country, but I haven't really seen a lot of like specifically DJing, which is really cool. And I think what's especially cool about it, especially, you know, with regards to young Black girls, DJing isn't something, I don't know, it's not something you're pushed to a lot.
Yeah.
It's something, it's like, for me, like I said, it's such a mystery to me of like how to get into it. And I think that's such a great opportunity to demystify it. And so I'm curious as to, like, have you thought, I mean, obviously, again, stuff had to be kind of put on hold, but what do you kind of envision this camp look like? Is it, you know, like a week long, you know, what kind of approach are you taking to this?
What the initial plan was, we were going to do it this past summer as a week-long in the morning camp, you know, starting at 8 o'clock, going to 10 o'clock for 5 days. Mm-hmm. But now, you know, since COVID started, is making me like, okay, how can I make it be safe? But honestly, it's such a weird time right now. I don't know how it's going to be in the future, because I know this type of camp, it has to be hands-on. It's not something that we can do virtually.
Oh yeah.
And it's the way the camp is set up. You know, I got partnerships through the U of I, and they were going to help lend the boards for the girls to, you know, be able to play on them. So I honestly, when I put it out there the first time, the little flyer that I put out, it had such a big, what's the word? like people were hitting me up like crazy, like, oh my God, you're doing this? Oh yeah, I want to do this. Sign my girl up, sign my child up. Even though it was gonna be a little smaller this year, if we keep pushing, honest, when it gets pushed back, I think it's gonna be a lot bigger than I thought it was gonna be.
So with this delay in mind and how weird this time is right now, do you have any, like, if there's like a kid at home watching right now, or even an adult who's at home and doesn't have DJing equipment, but is interested in like learning a bit more and like getting some skills, do you have any like suggestions of ways people can, you know, mess around and learn a little bit, even if they don't have a turntable? Any like free software? I'm just kind of curious if you're aware of any.
First and foremost, I just tell them, listen to as much music as possible, because that's going to get you set up for when you do start DJing. It's going to get you set up to be able to play to different crowds. One of my first lessons that I learned was, it wasn't even DJing when I started, it was learn your crowd. Regardless of what you're doing, you're going to have to learn your crowd. So for any child out there, just start listening to as much music as possible. If you don't like country, you need to listen to country. If you don't like rock and roll, you got to listen to rock and roll, just so you can be able to identify with whoever you're playing with. When it gets to the point where you're able to get to equipment, just play around with it. If you see a DJ that's on the side, go up there and spark up conversation with them. Ask them to show you different things that are on there, either their turntables, their digital board, their CDJs. Ask them certain things. 9 times out of 10, they're going to love that you asked them about it. But there are those ones that you don't want to mess with. But honestly, out of all the DJs I know in town, they wouldn't mind you talking to them. If you see somebody online, just reach out to them. They'll give you a couple pointers. And one of the biggest teachers is YouTube. Go to YouTube, check out somebody's mix, or they have like beginner sessions on there. I can't think of who I looked at, but there's a few people on there that's like, they're showing things.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like it's I think there's so many resources out there. You just have to like look for it and have the motivation. And so last thing I just want to ask, if is there, what's the best way for people to follow you, or if they're interested in the future with helping out with She Spins or learning more, you know, what are, you know, can you share like your social media, or like do you have an email if people have questions in the future?
Oh, of course.
Or book, if they want to book you for a birthday party over Zoom.
Hey, that I've been doing those too, so we can have all kind of parties going on. You can email me. My email is djsilkee@gmail.com. I'm also on Instagram. You can, I think it's DJ_SILKEE. I'm on Twitter, but I'm really not on Twitter. You know, I'm not that tech savvy. I am tech savvy, but I'm not. And also I'm on Facebook, DJ Silkee, SILKEE, or you can follow my personal page, Janaea Modest, JANAEA, and then Modest, MODEST. Like, if you reach out to me, I'm gonna reach back out to you. I like that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I'm again just so sad that this camp couldn't happen this summer, but also so excited about the future. And I hope you keep getting booked on those virtual events until we're able to gather in spaces again.
Okay, I appreciate that. Shout out to y'all. I really appreciate what y'all have done. Like, you've opened the door for many girls. You know, it's just awesome. Like, the best memory that I have of y'all is when y'all did that concert at Cowboy Monkey. I was in awe. I'm not even gonna lie, I was in awe, and it was amazing.
Well, we couldn't have done it without your support, and just thank you so much for being there. You were, you know, again, at the first workshop through as we were figuring things out. And so we're really appreciative of your continued support.
Oh, no problem. You know, I rock y'all from till the wheels fall off.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much. And yeah, hope you have a good weekend, and stay safe, stay healthy.